Hi there folks, I've assembled this box of Prussians, really nice plastics. I noticed that they were really an old box, 2011, but all things considering I think they've held up really well. Like these plastics I think well, they fill the gaps, I don't think there's, I'm not sure, I don't think there's other plastic Prussians from Victrix, I'm not 100%. I know that Warlord do some. They do the landwear in the flat caps, and I'm still not a massive fan of Warlord Games plastics. I don't think there's enough sharpness, but it's not that they're not very good. It's just I'm a bit fussy because I really enjoy the painting side of things. So I don't like painting stuff that's not very nice and detailed, because that's half the fun for me really. So to that end, I think I'm going to stick with Perry for the most part now. I've got a lot of Victrix stuff already, and some of them I've yet to paint, just like a handful of those, but after that then I think I'm going to stick with Perry. There's, in a box here, there's 46 figures for the Perry Prussians. They're aimed towards the sort of 1813 and 1814 war, and then of course the 100 Days campaign and Waterloo, then 1815, they're suitable for them as well. I've just finished reading a book here. I'll just pan the camera out. It's called The German Victory, and it's focused on the Waterloo campaign. It's very good because the author Peter Hofschurer has been able to translate a lot of German accounts from the Battle of Waterloo, so that can, well, I think it's valuable because I think our understanding of Waterloo, at least in Britain, is quite Anglo-centric, because obviously, if you're only able to read English accounts, that's our understanding of it. But what he's been able to do there quite well is, well, introduce us to another side of things really. Not only is it the sort of Prussian aspect of things, it also includes the sort of Germans within the British Army, or the British and Allied Army, under Wellington. So you've got the King's German Legion. There's a lot of first-hand accounts from their officers. All these officers were sort of men of letters, so they would write down, and they kept sort of journals and made official reports as well to their colonels and things. So there's a lot of really good stuff there. It doesn't say, it's not trying to argue for without the Germans, Waterloo wouldn't have been a victory at all or something. I just think it gives a more balanced account. So it says, both sides, both the British and Allies and Germans all contributed, significantly really to the ultimate victory, I think. And I think it gives credit to Wellington as well. It doesn't try to what do you say, smear Wellington at all. But yeah, it's interesting to have a different account, and it's never a bad thing to read someone else's sort of opinions, and just everyone will have their own thoughts after they've read it. I think I've enjoyed it. I've finished the part which discusses Waterloo. It's interesting because the other half of the book is actually the events following Waterloo, and it also follows another corps which was facing Grouchy then as well. They had a bit of a smaller battle at, well, I think the Prussians tried to retreat on Wavre, so the rear guard of the Prussians, those that weren't involved in Waterloo. Anyway, I'll let you to read it for yourself, but it sort of pushed me to assemble the Prussians that I had. Box of them, 46 figures, 6 of those are volunteer Jaegers, so they're not going to be ingrained into your actual battalions, but as I've worked out, you'd have the 24-man battalion, unless you want to do 36 figure battalion, then you'd use these 16 men left to make up that. Maybe you'd have, I don't know, I'm not very good at the quick maths, but I think you'd still have a few figures spare even then. You'd have 4, wouldn't you? Because there's 40 figures total, excluding the Jaegers, and they're really nice. You've probably seen these before. I haven't seen that many Prussians online for some reason. Not as many people seem to collect them. These are nice because they've got the haversacks with half the blanket roll, which sort of ties up with the front blanket roll. So it's quite an ingenious way to design these plastics. The detail on them is really nice. The heads, you can do different heads. There's some sort of fatigue cap type things, but I think these heads are possibly just for the Jaegers. Not sure how well that's focusing there. But those are really nice. The Jaegers can have shackles as well. That's about it. The command is quite straightforward. You know, you've got your officer, standard bearer, just the one standard bearer, and 3 flags in the information sheet, and a rather nice NCO figure. I just don't think I've got any sort of white card or something I can show them off on. I'll just see if that. There we go. Really nice. I think he would be quite nice in metal. I'm sure they've done something like him. I think what I'd do if I bought another box of Prussians is pick up a blister of Prussian command from Perry, you know, the metals, and that would help me do my 2nd battalion then. So I'm going to paint these up as a full 24-man battalion, but whilst I'm at it I think I'll paint these front 16 as you know, 16 of 24 for the next battalion then, so I only need 4 plastic figures and maybe a metal command to make up the full 24-man battalion again. And you'd have enough to make another battalion, so you'd have, from 2 boxes, you'd easily make 3 full 24-man Prussian battalions, and plenty of Jaegers as well, which you can either sort of put together to make like a battalion in skirmish order, you know, on the same width as a normal battalion, or you could just put them as skirmishers out in front of you, like a skirmish screen for your battalions. I quite like the idea of making like a full battalion of Jaegers. That'd be quite nice. They're all in the similar poses, but I'm sure they do metals as well. So yeah, that's an idea for the Prussians, and I'll leave it there for now, folks. Definitely a 9 out of 10 for the Prussians. All the best. Ta-da.